as we left this in progress here, um, no offense to anyone. I mean, like I said, um, truth is truth, words are words, and that's exactly what it is. So the thing that we're looking at here is, and we're going back and we're reviewing this year, and right now I have the second region Coach of the Year, Jess DeBurgo.
Hello.
So, how proud of this Lady Rockets soccer team are you?
Oh, I'm very proud. I told them before the season began that I knew that this was going to be different. The season was going to be a little bit different. We had strengths in different places in the field, and I knew as long as we worked together that we'd be able to accomplish our goal. Our goal for this year was just setting out to beat the school record of wins, which was 8. So coming out with 11 and then having 3 players on our all-district team and having an all-region player and then winning the award myself was just humbling, seeing as there's 13 counties in our region, and just for other schools to recognize that our program is here and is here to play soccer, and it's not a program to be written off anymore. Mm-hmm. And to just get such kind words from other coaches, and it was all very rewarding and made a lot of all the time and effort we spent since April putting into the season made it worth it for me and for us.
Now, let's go back and let's look at you growing up here for just a second. Okay, how long have you been involved in the sport of soccer?
The sport of soccer I've been involved in a long time. My dad played semi-professional soccer in Cape Verde Islands. That's where he immigrated from to the U.S. when he was younger. And then growing up, I was always on a soccer field. My dad was always playing or he was reffing, and every weekend we were out at somewhere across the state in Rhode Island, or we were in Massachusetts, somewhere at a soccer game, watching a soccer game. So it was always something that was a part of me. When I started playing in elementary school. I played elementary school and middle school. During middle school, I played on like 3 different teams. I played on the middle school team, a travel team, a rec team, and then started officiating with my dad. And we started that officiating journey together. My dad still officiates back at home, and he does Division I soccer and college soccer games, and it's just such a large part of us. And even though my dad is at home and I'm here, it's been something that I can call him and share with him news and games and updates, and something that I can continue that bond with my dad with, which has been really cool. I moved from Rhode Island to Nashville in 2018 and began playing on the adults soccer pickup league down there. And then when I moved to Ediville, I moved to I was in Marion for a little bit and moved to Ediville around the pandemic time. And I started trying to make some roots here, and I believe I started coaching the little ones with the youth soccer program in spring of last year. Mm-hmm. And I was not coaching them for but a week or two, and Ken Geary comes and finds me out in this field, and I had no idea who this man was, and his wife just texted me, was like, "Hey, my husband is with the soccer program, he wants to talk to you." I said, "Okay." And he,
what did I do wrong?
And he came to me and he was like, "Hey," he's like, I'm a coach for our girls soccer team, and we were looking for someone to fill the head coach position. And I believe, just from what my wife has already told me, that it's been really easy to communicate with you and talk with you, and the way that she sees you working with the kids and how you can see soccer in your eyes, that I think this would be a great fit for you. And I was like, what if I can come be your assistant coach? I think that'd be great. I'm younger, kind of scares me to work with a group of teenage girls. I've never done that before. I've just managed younger people. And he was like, no. You will be fine. I will support you. And he assured me that he would, and he did. And so that's when I got involved and took on being the head coach last year. And that was in May. And that's before the school had asked me to come teach there as well. So I took on the coaching position before I took the teaching position, and then ended up doing both. So being a first-year teacher and first-year coach was very hard. last year it was very difficult. There was a lot of days I wanted to pull my hair out and was just like, is this what am I doing? Like, is this right? Like, did I take on too much? But I think it all kind of fell into place. And doing that year last year taught me a lot. And so I think this year I even came in with a better mindset that I'm like, okay, I kind of know how things go. Kind of know how the school handles things. I kind of know better about scheduling, better days to schedule on, types of days, types of times. I've had a season of seeing what some teams look like last year, so I know this year I could prep the kids before the games. Hey, we know that this team plays this way, so let's change what we're doing. And so that experience from last year definitely helped us have that success this year, and we could not have had this success this year if I did not see these teams last year. So we do a lot of homework. We do a lot of homework, myself and Coach Heather and Coach Ken. We do a lot of homework and looking at stats, and we all keep the KHSA app on our phone. If anyone doesn't know that exists, it's awesome. You keep it on your phone, you can star and favorite your favorite teams and keep up with them. And so you can do it for multiple sports, and so I keep up with soccer and then all the other Crittenden sports on my phone. But being able to look at that and play a game, play the game against Caldwell, and then get on the bus and then get a notification from another game that was being played that these people won or lost, and we were already getting ready for the next games as soon as we were getting finished with games. So there's a lot of preparation and management and time that went into the season, and that definitely paid off for us.
Now, you mentioned your dad there a few minutes ago. How proud of you is your dad for doing what you're doing?
Yeah, he's really proud. He is a man of few words, so like I can send him a whole long text of this is what happened and a post, and he'll just be like, okay, great. He's like, okay, great. You did awesome. Like, congrats. Yeah. Like, he's just a man of few words, but I know, like, the relationship I have with him, like, I know it means more, and I know that he's really proud, and my mom's really proud, and they wish that they lived closer to come watch the girls. And my mom comments on all the soccer things, and it's like, I wish I was there. Like, go Lady Rockets. The Rockets ready to take off. And she's very into it, and so I still feel that support from them, even though they're far away from here. So,
and that's a good thing. You know, it's always good to have that support. And you know, you mentioned this, you know, being first year, you know, teaching here, first year coach, you know, and I can see where that would be overwhelming. And of course, we talked at Caldwell after the game,
mm-hmm.
and I do really appreciate that, because I know you weren't necessarily in the mood to do that interview, but you but you did a good job because you're real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, you're going to keep it real, and I'm sure you keep it real with these girls when you're out there on the field.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen your coaching style. You know, you're not, you're not the iron-fisted dictator, but you know, you are teaching these kids. And that's something that I was impressed with. Now, as far as, you know, with every team, there has to be that bond.
Mm-hmm.
And they all spoke of that bond.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys do to kind of develop that a little bit, to help develop that? I mean, you know, because anytime you've got new pieces moving into a program, you have to develop that bond. It just don't happen. It's
no, I think there's multiple ways I would say that we've done that. We try as a team to get together outside of soccer, just to get together, have a little cookout. What did we do at the beginning of the season? We did a cookout in the beginning of the season. We did a weenie roast a couple weeks ago. We did the parade together. We all went out on the parade. So we try to do some things outside of the soccer world to keep that bond. But also what is helpful is that our JV and our varsity practice together. So every day we as a unit are out there. It's not just the older girls practicing together and the younger ones. It's a mesh. And so while we're practicing in drills, you have older and younger. When we do scrimmages, we have some varsity versus JV scrimmages. So then it keeps the kids on the JV team can see the skill level that they're trying to aspire to get to. And then the older ones can kind of see, oh, hey, Morgan, you had a great kick, or oh, Macy Bella, you did this great. And they pep up our younger ones and kind of mold them and gas them up a little bit, and they need that. And so that's what's helped create the bond, I'd say, between them.
So this group over here, they're like kicking the ball extra hard at the JV kids, right?
Nah. Sometimes, and it's not all fun and games. It's not every practice that the older and the younger kids get along, and because there's a big age gap. You have our JV is anywhere from 7th grade through sophomores, so we have some 7th graders, so they have the mindset of 12, 13-year-olds, and then we have our seniors that are
annoyed by the 12 and 13-year-olds.
that are on a different mindset. So it's a lot of daily. Okay, we realize we got to be nice, we got to be supporting, there's a lot of reminding of our manners, reminding the older kids that they're example and they're setting example for the younger ones. And the younger ones are a lot of times a good sport, and so that is helpful with it. But we have a blast. We have a blast while we're out there. So
now, anything that you could think of looking back at this season, anything that you could think of that you say to yourself, darn it, we missed this opportunity, or man, I wish we'd have done that a little bit different. And then the flip side of that, is there anything that just stands out to you that, God, I'm glad we did that, because that made a huge difference in what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, when I would say that was our story with Trick County this year. And even though we did lose the 3 times that we saw them, the first time we played them, it was 1-1 until the last 5 minutes of the game. So, and the score ended up being 4-2. And so that last 5 minutes, there was such pressure going on and heat going on at that game. And we came out of that game with that 4-2 loss, and my seniors were so upset. And they were like, what can we do to stop that? What can we do? What could have we done different? And I said, guys, you guys are not used to playing in pressure situations. You're not used to dealing with that pressure in a high intensity game. And they're like, how do we get better at that? And I'm like, the only way to get better is to experience that more. And then we turned around, and then here we were in a district championship with them. And the game final score ended up being 2-1. So going from a 4-2 loss, and then I believe it was a 6-1 or 6-2 loss the second time we saw them, and then playing them a third time and it being 2-1. And one of the goals that they had was a little bit of a controversial goal. But I believe just with the mindset, I'm not sure if we would have been able to pull out if we went over into that overtime with just what skill we had out there and what we were putting out there that night. So I don't think it would have been much different, the outcome. But that was a very proud moment for me to, Trick County is a team that we've just been losing to and get killed by before in the past. And so here in a district championship to only lose 2-1, to me was a proud moment, even though I know a lot of them were upset. But there was a lot of great soccer going on that night out at Trick. So I was really proud of them for that.
I mean, of course, we mentioned earlier, the big games, the big game mindset. There's a difference between playing St. Mary's School for the Poor and, that just, that you're just going to go in and you're going to crush, and, that it's probably going to be 10-0 before halftime, and you hope it's not 15 or 20 to nothing before halftime, because you got to play that first half regardless. And then you have that game that might end 1-0 or 1-1, or what is your mindset as a coach preparing the girls for that game? I mean, what are you saying to them? And we'll use Trick County or we'll use Lyon County. I mean, these are district matchup. These are big games. Region tournament. These are big games, and that like I said earlier, unfortunately, you ran into a buzzsaw in your draw, and I mean there was nothing that you guys could have done differently about that except go out and compete and hope that day they didn't show up to compete.
Yeah.
And then you smoke them both and win the
Yeah.
region.
That would be a nice dream, wouldn't it be? But I think, and they'll tell you, my advice for every game is you never know how today can go. Today is a new day, and anyone can have a bad day. Henderson can have a bad day. Madisonville, North Hop can have a bad day. And what I found out a little bit more about them is that they played, a big player for them was number 16. I'm not sure of her name, but she was a big player for Madison North Hop, and they didn't have her half the season.
No,
If we saw that team in the beginning of the season, like, I don't believe that the score would have been close to what it was, maybe just her, but the combination of her and a few other their players. And so any game can be a game where someone else is having a bad day. So we just got to play our best game. We just got to come out there with what we got and just try to suppress our soreness and try to just give it our all. But anyone could be having a bad day. There's things that happen. I explained to them how last year was a COVID season. So not was it just my first season, but it was a COVID season. There were some games where we're all set, we prepped, we spent 4 days practicing, all ready to go play this game. And then we go to the game, and then I get a text before the game, oh, so-and-so's got a COVID, and they're not going to be there. And then you have to change your whole game plan to try to do with what you got. And so that was my advice to them. You just never know. You just never know what's going on. You just play the best game of soccer that you can play, and anyone might be having a bad day. You just never know.
Right. And you were talking about Madison Hill, is who you were talking about from North Hopkins a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, she missed the majority of the season. They had several players that missed the majority of the season. One of them was Shelby Chandler. She's one of their defenders, and I mean, she'd been out with an ACL tear that she tore in March, and she happened to come back at the district final for the 7th district, and then she, of course, played in the game against you guys. And, I mean, they were down a lot this year because of injuries and things. So, like you said, you never know. You never know going into the season. You just hope that it's not your year.
Yeah.
For all
you
the
just hope it's
and
not
being
you.
down.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, of course, there's always the teams that come out there too that, hey, we're going to have the best year ever, and they go 0 for the season. We've seen that happen, in other sports, and it's happened in soccer. You just hope that everything gels. And it seems like, though, with the program that you're putting together here, and with your mindset and your experience in being a player, and bringing that difference in a mindset to the board, it's making a difference to the girls, and that's not saying anything bad about another coach. The thing is, kids will respond to that. If they see, okay, you know what, I didn't necessarily, maybe I didn't believe 100% in the way something was done before, but I like what Coach Jess is doing. Hey, I'm getting behind that. And I think that's what we were seeing earlier. And we'll go back to that for a minute ago. And it's not a situation where it's a bad thing that's said against someone else. It's just maybe the players are seeing a system that they can adapt to. And your thoughts on that?
I just try to be as approachable as I can. I try to be as understanding as I can. I keep open lines of communication. The kids know that I am there for them more than just their soccer coach. I am there for them if they need a friend. I'm there for them if something's going on at home. They know, and especially Cody would tell you that. And so I care about them more than them just being my player or just being a number or just someone I stick out on the field. And I explain to that people come to me and be like, oh, Coach Jess, like, this is going on. Like, I got to be home. I can't come to practice. And I'm like, okay, that's a life thing that's going on. Like, you take care of your life thing, you get what you need to get done, and then you come back and you be ready to play when you get back. And that's just not something they've just, in the past, maybe even just not have had such understanding about different things. And like you said earlier, my coaching style is not dictatorship. I am not just going to stand there and drill sergeant and yell out things. And that's just, a lot of times I allow them to have their own input in what we're doing. Especially this year, Lily Westmoreland, I trust her so much as my defensive captain that a lot of times I told her for her to adjust the plays on the field to what she saw fit. When we run drills, I'll say to Raven, hey, Raven, what do you think we really need to work on from last game? And then she'd tell me and be like, okay, so how can we put a drill together to make that work? So I very much involve the kids as much as I can in the coaching process and what we're doing from hour to hour practicing, and giving them that buy-in and letting them know that they can, have a part of it too. So.
And again, that's just part of teaching the sport. Sometimes the best coaches are also the ones who show respect to their players, regardless of how big or how small. You was talking about coaching in the little kids.
Very different. Herding cats.
Yes,
very different.
That is a herding cats, and when they're even younger than that, herding chipmunks.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was what I always saw when my kids tried to play soccer, and I'm the first to admit, I don't understand all the things that there is about soccer. Now I'm learning. Mm-hmm. This is my second year covering soccer, and I have learned a ton. Do I have a ton more to learn? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we all do, though. Even someone like myself that has been playing since I was little, there's always things to learn. In soccer, too, sometimes rules are changing year to year. They'll come out with the official rules in different games, and just league to leagues or state to state, there are some things that I had to double check with Coach Ken or Coach Heather about and be like, is this rule here, too? Because this rule is different at home, especially when it comes to playoff games. Like, we played Lion playoff games or district games. We played Lion that first time. We ended in overtime, and whereas home you have to play 2 5-minute overtime periods before you go to PKs, and even if someone scores, the score doesn't stand until the 2 5-minute periods are played. Whereas here, Coach Ken was like, you might want to double check with them. I don't know if it's done like that here. And asked the refs, and they're like, oh no, it's golden goal. And then we're like, okay, well, that's a different mindset. We have different rules. It's very important to know what's going on. But we all have more to learn, and we don't know everything. And I don't try to tell the kids that I know everything, because I don't. And there's still things that I'm learning. There's some times where I've had my older kids, like especially kicking off the ball. Like when I came in last year coaching up north, like when you kick off the ball always has to go forward. And last year they were like, no, the ball has to go behind. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, why would you do that? And Raven's like, well, that's just how it is. And I was like, okay. So I looked it up, and they were right. I was like, okay. So I'm learning. And that's okay.
I never understood.
And
either.
I can admit when I'm wrong. And I can admit when I'm wrong and be like, okay, I'm sorry I did that. Or, okay, I'm sorry I didn't understand that, and I'm glad that you educated me on it, and we can move on. I try as my best for the kids to understand that I'm an equal to them, and I'm not trying to act like I'm above them in any way.
There you go. So I know we've been on here a pretty good while here now, so I probably have worn you out with the questions. But anybody that you want to give a shout out to yourself. I mean, of course, the girls they give the shout out. Of course, every one of them to you and the coaching staff. But anybody that you want to give a shout out to, and then I'm going to ask. This is going to be the tough question. Okay, I told you I had one tough question left just for her. What are your goals to accomplish for next year that are above and beyond what you accomplished this year?
Okay. For shout outs, I definitely have to shout out my coaching staff. It's been so nice having Coach Heather and her coaching staff, and being able to have her to lean on and be on the ins and outs, and like we constantly text each other, figuring out stuff and dealing with stuff, and poor thing gets text from me at 12 o'clock at nighttime sometimes about things, and she's just been someone that has been there for me and through the coaching process, and I really appreciate her for that. And then also a big shout out to Mr. Gary. He just, like, without him, like, I would not be here. Like, and I've told him multiple times, if you were to tomorrow quit the soccer program, I might have to quit too, because I would not be able to do it without him. Like, he takes care of our field management. He drives our bus. I have questions constantly that he helps answer for me. He is the historian since he's been with the program for so long. Like, there's so many things I have to reference him for, and so he's been monumental, like him and Coach Heather. So, and he made a joke, and he said that we were like the trilogy. Like, we were like, we each three have different things that we bring to the table, and the girls can rely on that. And that has been, he said that to him was the difference this year. And then I also want to give a shout out to my poor boyfriend, who has not seen me since April.
Hasn't seen you in months.
Yes, poor him. He's not seen me and my family, and it's hard when you're teaching, like, just as a teacher, and working the school system, and then coaching as well. It's like sometimes your family doesn't always get the front burner, and it's hard to kind of deal with that. And but my boyfriend's been very nice rock for me, and I come home crying a lot over things, and he's been there for me, and I appreciate that. Looking forward to next season. What's the word for it? I'm excited for next season, but I feel like we've set the bar so high that we're going to be chasing tail to get back up there. And I've explained to all I'm losing my core. My 4 seniors, I'm losing. They were my core 2 in the middle, my core 2 in the back. And so I've explained to the kids, I'm like, if you want to see success in the next season, we need to do a lot of work in the off season. I need you guys to go do other sports. I need you to condition. I need you guys to work on teamwork. I need you to work with other coaches and other coaching styles. I need you guys to put in the work. If you want to see the success, the work has to be put in. Because if we just sit on our butts until we get to the spring and start coming out and start complaining over running a couple laps of practice, we're going to have big problems, and I'm going to have big problems with you. So I'm like, it's going to be hard. I already have half of next year's schedule already planned out. All the coaches in the region, like, districts ain't even over before everyone's like emailing and scheduling for next year. And next year I want to make sure that we play a little bit of a tougher schedule. Yeah, we're going to lose some kids, but I think it's important to see everyone. And I think part of our loss at the region with Madison North Hop was that we explained notes to the kids. We explained, yes, they are faster than anyone we've seen. They play this way. But the kids didn't see it for their own eyes because they didn't see them this season. So I don't think, believed us. I don't think they quite understood what we were they were picking up what we were putting down. And so it's just catching up and making sure that we have a successful senior season for our seniors next year. We'll have 6 of them at least. And just making sure that we do everything right for them and we play out for them. That will be my goals for next year.
Well, there you go. Are you guys going to do any of the indoor soccer over the winter? Are you planning on that as a team, or?
No, we are not. We have some girls that will be playing with some other schools doing the indoor. I wish that we were a little bit closer. Back when I was little, we had indoor soccer was just 15 minutes away up the street, and there's lots of facilities, and it's very different. Here, the only places play, I believe, is like in Hopkinsville, Mayfield. But there are some teams in the area that invited some of our girls to come to go play, and I've encouraged them to do that and work on themselves as a player and build themselves as players. So
awesome. Well, Coach, congratulations again on a great year, a great season, and for all the girls, and even though I'm still disappointed that Taylor didn't come in, because like I said, I had questions for her, so y'all can boo her if you want to. Go ahead, boo Taylor.
They would not dare. They would not dare.
They're thinking about it. But anyhow, and all jokes aside, I mean, I think the world of Taylor, and I do wish she'd have come in because I had a couple of questions specifically for her. But anyhow, I will catch up to her, and of course, as we get closer to April, of course, the invitation's always here. Come on, bring a couple of girls with you,
yeah.
and because we definitely we definitely want to hear from you guys. We want to know, hey, what's going on, because it's important, and that invitation goes out to all the coaches at Crittenden County. You know, come in, talk to us. I promise you, I don't bite. They can tell you, I didn't bite while they were here. But I mean, the thing is, yeah, we want to have a discussion because everybody wants to know what the Rockets and the Lady Rockets are doing. And I mean, so the door is always open, and the invitation is always there. Just come on in. And in fact, tomorrow we're going to have Bailey, and we're going to have some of the volleyball girls in here tomorrow. They're having a heck of a season too, headed off to the region tournament starting next week. But Jess, again, thank you for coming in. Girls, thank you guys for coming in too. And we appreciate everything that you're doing. And like I said, we're looking forward to next year.
Me too.
Let's hope it's bigger and better than it was this year.
One could only hope. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
All righty, folks. And we'll be back right after this.